Tenable Fenrir crossbar lock, Fenrir top liner lock, two badass budget bangers that both beat the original button lock. But which Fenrir is the ultimate Fenrir, and which deserves that spot as a top contender for 2025's best budget EDC knife of the year? Stick around to find out. What it do, Kripple Krew, EDC with DBD, disabled but deadly, and today we're looking at two totally tubular tenables to determine which takes the throne as the ultimate Fenrir. You might be wondering, Deebs, why you flicking on that Flytanium Arcade Lite? Well, since it came out, this has been in my #1 contender spot for 2025's best budget knife of the year, and today's top Fenrir will enter the KRIPPLEDOME and go head to head with the Arcade Lite to help determine 2025's final best budget knife of the year. Before we get into these awesome Fenrirs, stab that like button like you mean it. Make sure that you have /subscribe and also that you have bashed that bell for notifications so that you don't miss anything. I hate to ask, but the YouTube algorithm makes me. If you're watching this on your phone, please hit the hype button. If you've already used them up this week, no worries. First, we're going to start with some specs, alright? Both come in at 7.89 inches overall length with a just under 4.5 inch close length. The blade length for the Fenrir top liner lock is listed at 3.4 inch, where the crossbar lock is listed at 3.48 inches. That's because of the choil. The hardware is the same on both. We have the same pocket clip, and it is still reversible and tip up as the gods intended. 137 thousandths blade stock thickness on both of them. The crossbar lock comes in at 3.7 ounces, 3.7 ounces, and the top liner lock comes in at 4.14 ounces. And that is mainly due to the fact that the liners are definitely a little bit thicker on the top liner lock, because that liner is acting as our lock bar, our button actuated compression lock. That they of course can't say that because Spyderco owns a name of compression lock, but that's what this is. We'll get into the lock differences in a minute. I want to talk first about the ergonomic differences. So both are available in a whole bunch of styles, with Ultem, with Micarta, with G10, with aluminum, and both come with either Nitro-V or Damascus blades. The Damascus is a 9CR 10CR Damascus, so really not a huge difference in the steels between the Damascus and the Nitro-V. It's definitely more for aesthetic. Foam grips, let's keep going. But even though the materials between the two are, you have the same options, the ergonomic feel is quite a bit different. The crossbar lock gets rid of the extended finger choil. Now, it still has a fantastic sharpening choil. You're going to get a ton of sharpening life off of this Nitro-V, but it eliminates that forward grip position. It's still very comfortable ergonomically. I wear an extra large size glove. I get a full size grip. I know guys with 2XL and 3XL gloves that have Fenrirs and enjoy them. And the harpoon on the Fenrir blade definitely locks you in comfortably and ergonomically. However, the crossbar lock does not feature any jimping. Our top liner lock adds an extended grip capability because of the jimping back here that does, even though it's not a lot of jimping, it absolutely helps lock me in. But it opens up a whole new world of control and ergonomics with that full-size finger trail. The ergonomics in that finger trail and using that for controlled cuts are great. Both of these have, a great belly and a very bulky tip, useful for so many different EDC styles of usage. And of course, both always, like all Tenables, come from the factory very sharp. Besides the ergos, what does it change? Well, that jimping here adds another nice feature for us. So the button lock Fenrir, the original Fenrir had the Fenrir, concept Fenrir front lock had a front flipper. The button lock Tenable Fenrir can be front flipped, but it is not, the tang is not as pronounced right there as it is on the top liner lock. And the crossbar lock, the tang is much shorter here, and there is no jimping. So for this, to open it, we have the reversible thumb studs, or of course we can use that crossbar lock. And I do want to say that that was my fault. Their crossbar lock is tuned. Their Omega springs are tuned very well. Feels great. The detent and just the feel of the springs. But while the reversible thumb studs still work great on the top liner lock, and we can use our top liner lock button to open it as well, now we can use that jimping as a front flipper. It's not designed as a front flipper, so you have to make sure that you're intentional with it. But as you can see, it works. Now, I believe I could do the reach around if I had a different scale on my top liner lock. I felt the Ultem top liner lock at Blade Show West, and I should have grabbed it first thing in the morning, because when I went back just a little while later, Mrs. Deadly got this one, but that Ultem one was gone. And the Ultem had a lot of texture. I'm pretty sure I could do it. That one would be reach around approved. But with the smooth aluminum, it's using that front rollover is the way to go. So not only do I find the top liner lock ergonomically superior, but it also adds a method of opening that we don't have on our crossbar lock. Before we go into the differences in the lock and which I prefer, let's do a couple of quick size comparisons. Knife Dope calls this part knife flexing, because we're going to start it off with the TRM Atom Mike Irie Custom Hollow Grind and the TRM Neutron 2. And you know what, we're actually going to bring that down just a little bit lower. And what you'll see is it is definitely much closer in size to the Atom than the Neutron 2. How about another standard comparison here? The Spyderco Paramilitary 2 Wharncliffe Edition and the Spyderco Para 3 Salt. It's definitely, again, closer to the PM2 in length. It is a full-size knife, if not necessarily a large knife. Now, two more size comparisons. The knife it's going to go up against in the KRIPPLEDOME, and last year's best budget knife, the Civivi Vision FG. And the Vision FG and Arcade Lite are both slightly shorter than the Fenrir, with the Vision FG being a little bit closer. Still a great knife. I do prefer the Arcade Lite to the Vision FG. So, there's some good size comparisons for you. Let's talk about these locks really quick. The Tenable does the crossbar lock very well. There's an Omega spring on either side of this that puts tension against this bar right here. That bar rests over the tang of the blade right there. And this pushes up against the stop pin, creating multiple points of contact and keeping that bar pressed over the tang so that the blade does not close, giving us very good lockup. Very good lockup. Pull the springs back, pull the bar back against the springs, and it releases that tang. I cannot talk, and allows the blade to close. We have a spot here in the tang of the blade where the crossbar rests in the closed position, and that little notch and the spring tension are what give us our detent to launch it from the closed position. The top liner lock, again, would be better suited to be called the button compression lock if they could. We have a liner here that has it goes right over the tang of the blade there. There's a notch in the liner that goes over the tang of the blade, and then the blade is up against this big, giant stop pin. And that liner, that lock tang is now going, or that lock face is going underneath this stop pin, up against the stop pin, and up against the tang of the blade. Provides insane bank vault lockup. Rock solid, especially with that giant stop pin. But you can see where the lock goes in over the tang of the blade underneath the stop pin. And then our button pushes the liner out of the way, allowing the blade to fall freely. Liner out of the way, very smooth, both running on ceramic ball bearings. But the compression lock is known to be stronger even than the crossbar lock. This is not a weak lock system. The crossbar lock system is very strong, but this is even stronger. And it reduces two points it can fail in the Omega springs. I have quite a few crossbar lock knives, and you guys know that I'm a flick and fidgeter, and I've only had one knife where I had to replace an Omega spring because it actually bent out of shape through usage and was just weakened, and the crossbar was going crooked over the tang of the blade. It's still locked up because of the strength of the other spring, but not as solidly, not as safely and securely, and I had to replace the springs. The top liner lock eliminates that completely. So not only is it a stronger lock, but there is less chance of failure over time. I definitely prefer that to the crossbar. Both are ambidextrous. You know, the crossbar lock, one of the nice things about it when it was released was that it was an ambidextrous lock. For me, though, I have a little bit of issue with my left hand because, unlike my right hand, I'm not grabbing the pocket clip. If I flip the pocket clip, it would be a lot easier for me because then my fingers would be on there. But, you know, absolutely an ambidextrous knife. For me, though, for my hands, especially when they're acting up, a button is always easier for me. And a button, the strongest version of a button lock is the top liner. So With this, it is easily ambidextrous because my index finger now can push that button, and I can work this knife much easier left-handed, even with the slick scales. So the detent and lockup are both superior with the top liner lock. The detent on it is tuned so well. Again, not that it feels bad. For a crossbar lock, this feels pretty good, but you'll never get that same detent feel from a crossbar that you can from a liner that has an actual detent ball on it. So, ergonomically, top liner lock wins. More methods of deployment. Easier for me to use left-handed, and a stronger, less prone to failure lock. I think you see where I'm going here. Both of these knives, by the way, start below $60, depending on the version you get. On the Tenable website, they've got several on sale right now, and code DBD always saves on the Tenable website. Now, one of them, they dropped a top liner lock last month that was JG10, but you can't tell that because it has a purple Day of the Dead pattern on it. And that one looks very cool. And you can get it for like $54 after code DBD. The pricing is going to be the same on crossbar locks. There are some that start under $60 after discount code, and with Damascus go up to about $80 with discount. So pricing being the same, I have to say that the top liner lock Fenrir is definitely the superior Fenrir. For all the reasons I have listed, this wins out over the crossbar, which I already preferred to the plunge lock, button lock, original Tenable Fenrir. I really like that Tenable is using the Fenrir as his concept, is using one of their best flagship patterns, and to me, using it similar to the Sage knives, the Sage line from Spyderco, offering a fantastic design with, they have a liner lock, a frame lock, a plunge lock, a crossbar lock, and a top liner lock between the two brands, and a bolster lock. So whatever you like, you can get in a Fenrir. You can also use the same code at Concept on Concept Fenrirs. By the way, I didn't say it. This is a Sparrow design. Greg Schob. He does some awesome designs. But the Tenable top liner lock will be entering the KRIPPLEDOME against the Flytanium Arcade Lite. What do you think? Do you think we made the right decision? Who do you think's gonna win? Let me know in the comments below. Until next time, folks, stay safe, stay frosty. Most importantly, folks, stay deadly.